ladies and gentlemen, Accent Radio Network proudly presents a program undefiled, unadulterated, pure, and simply the best 4.5 minutes of your Saturday morning ritual. It's the Ernesto Durango Show. We hope that you'll sit back and enjoy. And now, your host, Ernesto Durango.
You know, when I was a kid, life was simple. The pleasures that we had in our life were simple but elegant. We had 3 channels of television. Mom stayed home and baked cookies. Oh, she baked some great cookies. And on the radio, we could hear Bobby Darin. Yeah, times were simpler back then. Cars just ran on regular gasoline with lead in it. We swam in the lakes and enjoyed the finer things in life, the simpler things in life. Don't you want to go back to those quiet and more pleasant times? Heck no, man. I'm telling you what. The good old days, let's think about these for a little while, okay? 3 channels of television. Sitting out on my high-definition television in the other room is about 240 channels, and I don't have the greatest cable system in the world, but I understand it's getting better. We'll have 500 channels next year. How many can you watch at a time? But still, you know what? We lived in a little village outside of Battle Creek, Michigan called Mill Lake, and in the summers up in Michigan, it got hot. It got stinking hot. You think we had air conditioning? No, we didn't have air conditioning. And then what about heat in the winter? Well, we had gas heat downstairs with little vents that were supposed to help it rise upstairs. We used to freeze in the wintertime. I mean, it was just stinking cold. And then the cars that we drove, okay? Number one, they burned a lot of gas, but that's okay. Gas was cheap. They didn't have air conditioning. They didn't have really cool sound systems. They didn't have power steering. They didn't have all of the neat stuff that we have today, including airbags and seat belts, which saved my life a couple of years ago when I was in a bad car crash. Okay? They didn't have all of the safety features that cars have in them today. And let's take a look at our homes. The windows that we had in those days. Horrible. Hard to get up, hard to put down. The wind blew right through them in the wintertime. You had to put storm windows on to keep the cold weather out. You don't have that now. Now we've got these nifty double pane glass windows, which help keep our inside environment wonderful. And speaking of our inside environment, we've got heat pumps. We've got fabulous things. You know what? In my old house, I had this Mac Daddy air conditioning system installed at my other house that I had just before this one. Spent about $14,000 on this puppy. Had new vents, had a new air conditioner that had 3 different speeds. It had something called Air Effects, which purified the air. And I'm going to tell you, when you walked inside that house, the air was pure and fresh, and the temperature was always perfect year-round. We didn't have that back in the good old days. And let's talk a little bit about medicine. You know what? The lifespan in this country has increased instead of decreasing. And we hear all these people, talking about, all the bad foods and all of the aspartame and all that stuff. I'm drinking some aspartame right now. Excuse me. Let me take a quick sip here. That's good. I'm here to tell you something. We're living longer and more productive lives now than we ever have. The good old days, keep them, man. I'm happy about the future. I'm happy about where we are right now. I think we live in the greatest country in the world. I think we have the best music in the world right now. I think we have the best television. We have the best communication. We have the best, news available to us, given us on an instant. We have cell phones that we carry with us right now. We can have instant communication with anybody in the world. Remember when we used to watch Star Trek when we were a kid, and they had those little communicators that they would open up? And we'd say, wow, what about that technology? Guess what? I'm holding one right here in my hand. It's a Samsung. I can open up this puppy and I can call anybody in the world on this thing, and I carry it in my pocket with me all the time, and it costs me $60 a month. I'm here to tell you, folks, life is good. The good old days stunk. Hallelujah for technology. For Ernesto Durango, I'm Michael Crose. Oh, and did I mention the internet? And did I mention iPod touches? Did I mention broadband internet? Did I mention laptop computers that you can take to Starbucks and drink $5 cups of coffee and go online and check your email